It's fun opening things. You never know what kind of surprise you're going to get. The first thing being opened tonight is Fort Garry Brewing's Dark English Mild Ale Neapolitan style. Now, their dark ale is an old favorite from way back, but in this case, they've added some vanilla chocolate and strawberry to make it, as they describe it, reminiscent of Neapolitan ice cream. Surprising, different. Not sure, I'll have to reserve judgment. But let's see what we got in the actual mail here. Nothing in English to indicate what's in it. Right, I guess we have to do this the hard way. Oh, haha! It's another one of those QI or Qi. I still don't know what the proper pronunciation is. Phone charger module things. I bought a couple of them to replace. Oh, this is exactly the same one. So this is one that my kid got with his charger for Christmas, and as you can see, it's got a burned patch on it after a short period of usage. So I bought a couple of them to replace it. One that came in the last mail bag, and then there's this one, which looks to be exactly the same as this one. I don't think that's what it looked like in the picture on the website, though. Yeah, this picture definitely looks different than what I really got. QI charging receiver, universal Type-C charger for Huawei, Xiaomi, bunch of other phones, USB Type-C charging dock. And based on the previous one that is the same as this one, I think $535 is way more than I should have paid for it. But as you can see by the side here, it's probably the cheapest ones I could find. What does it say about it? 1000 milliamp, 5 volts, sure. All the rest of it is the same standard stuff. 9 millimeters thick, 69 millimeters across. Nice. Well, let's see if things look up from here. Another one that just has Chinese lettering on the outside, but not a very effective customs declaration. So 2 pieces of, it looks like another USB charging. Oh, no. This is, I think, a USB-C power delivery board. Yeah, I think you can use these dip switches here to tell it what voltage to deliver to the load based on what the load can handle. I think that's what it does. This USB power delivery standard, I mean, it's been around for a couple of years. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. But I just got a device at work, a new laptop, that charges by USB-C with power delivery. So I think I might want to play with this just to figure out how it works. And I got 2 of these modules. So I can play a little bit, how shall we say, haphazardly, and still have a second one that survives. PD/QC/AFC fast charge decoy triggering support 5 volt, 9 volt, 12 volt, 15 volt, 20 volt fixed voltage output. I got 2 of these for $1.45 each with $1.44 shipping. Other than the title, there really isn't any other information. But I think I misspoke when I was talking about it on the workbench. It seems that this tells the charger what voltage to supply, and then it outputs that voltage. So that'll be still a useful thing to have, just to tinker with this stuff and just play with it a little bit more. Rolling right along. Let's see what the next one, again, with a customs declaration not written in English, says. Okay, these... Okay, I think I know. These are a weatherproof, I think, insulation displacement connector. If they are what I think they are, you jam 2 wires up in there. And I don't think you have to remove the insulation or anything, because I think inside here there's a couple of blades or pins or something. Yeah, that bar there is a little metal piece that's folded over. So when you clamp down on it here with pliers, those little metal fingers cut into the insulation and make a contact with your wire. And I think if these are the weatherproof ones, that means they're filled with some kind of petroleum jelly or other goop inside. And if they're not, if they're just indoor units, well, that's okay too, because I don't really like deploying crimp connectors in outdoor environments anyway. 10/50 pieces, K1, K2, K3 connector crimp connection, terminals waterproof, or so they claim, wiring RJ45, Ethernet cable connector, telephone wire terminals. Yeah, that's just a random jumble of keywords. They have 3 different types. K1, K2, which is the one I got, and K3, which I guess takes 3 wires. Anyway, I got these K2 ones, 10 of them for 89 cents and $1.07 shipping. Yeah, this was just a complete whim purchase because I've never had any of these kind of connectors to play with, so I figured for, less than $2 shipped, I would just see if they're any good at all. And from a seller like Pink Cloud Store, how can you not expect quality electronic products? This is actually useful information. So the K2 goes from 0.4 up to 0.9 millimeter squared wire. I assume that's millimeter squared. 1.80 millimeter outer diameter. Okay, and the other 2 are different sizes of wire. I see. So the K3 does do 3 conductors. Okay, even though it sort of shows only 2 in there. Oh yeah, so there's the internals of them. And like I said, these little slots kind of bite into the wire through the insulating jacket of the wire, and it's going to bite into the conductor. So there is the K2, the one that I've got. It takes 2 conductors. It looks like, the K3 does take 3 conductors, and the K1 just takes 1 conductor. No, 2 conductors. But it's a little bit thicker metal piece, so it may not flex out of the way. This one has 2 metal pieces, and it looks like a gap in the middle so that they can flex a little bit more. Not sure, but I probably should have bought examples of all 3 of them. Maybe I will just to compare them in the future. I don't know. All right, next thing in, second to last thing in. This one says charger adapter. Okay, we shall see. Now, what do we got here? That is a USB-A to USB-C. Okay. And this one, hard to tell without getting into it. So let's just, did I nick the wire? No. Okay, no. So this is a Type-C converter, power delivery 100 watts. So if I remember correctly, you plug a typical 20-volt laptop charger into the backside of here, and then it does the power delivery negotiations with whatever's on this side and sends it whatever voltage it wants to. Whatever voltage, the load wants, I guess, is more appropriate. Not quite sure what use that is with this thing, but this is what I really wanted out of it, though. So this plus those power delivery decoy boards should be able to test this thing through its voltages. Oh, and it's got just a normal USB on the side there, so I guess that's just for straight up charging at 5 volts, maybe? Have to experiment with that. Coming very soon to a YouTube channel near you. USB Type-C to laptop power delivery charging adapter, charging cable converter connector with all kinds of goofy emoji crap in there. I'm not going to read that. Anyway, they have a whole variety of them. I got the 100 watt 5.5 millimeter, which I'm hoping is what that female jack is down there, to USB-C version. So that was $15 American or $20.13 Canadian plus $9.39 Canadian shipping. So almost $30 for this adapter. But hopefully it will allow me to use any one of the myriad of old school laptop chargers with my new laptop. So there's specs for most of them, kind of specs anyways. This is, I think, the most relevant one. 100 watt converter output can be either 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts, 12 volts at 3 amps, 15 at 4.35 amps, or 20 volts at 5 amps. Yeah, there's some of the other options you can get with these funky square connectors or the different coaxial barrel jack types. I'm hoping that I chose the one that I have lots of. And the last thing in, this one calls itself a wire stripper. Always like a good wire stripping tool. That's not a wire stripper. I mean, it says it's a wire stripper there, but that's not what this really is. This is a very specialized tool. It's for grabbing onto those squeeze type, what are they called, strain reliefs on the back of equipment and squeezing them to remove or reinstall the strain relief. It's not exclusively on the back of equipment. There is one right there on the front of my soldering station. That is the power cable that goes to my hot air tool. Let me just see if I can demonstrate on this old guy here. So I should be able to just squeeze that in and lift it right out. Yeah, look at that. That is awesome. And then to insert it, you just, again, get right in underneath there, squeeze it in. It squeezes this little chunk here, which is the part that bites in to hold onto the cable. You sort of form it in like that. Grab onto it, and in you go. Beauty. That's so much easier than using a pair of vice grips or a pair of needle nose pliers or something. Nice to know that there is a special tool for it. And I wish I could thank whoever showed me this on one of their videos, but it was a couple months ago, and I watched so damn many videos. I should take notes, but somebody got one of these things, and I thought, wow, that is slick. I need to get me one of those. Metal strain relief bushing pliers, tool grommet insert, crimpers for electrician, or, you know, anybody who deals with this kind of stuff. This one sent me back $15.87 Canadian with 28 cents shipping. Think it's gonna be really useful in those situations where I have to pull cables out or change cables or install a cable on a new piece of equipment. Adjustable for all strain relief bushings that assemble into holes up to 3/4 of an inch or 20 millimeters, and for larger as well. Okay. One piece rubber covers. Yeah, no, they're plastic. Whatever. Well, that was fun, as these things often are. And mostly stuff that's going to be useful, I think. This Type-C charger, like I said, it is exactly the same as the one that failed on my kids, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to use it for anything, but I decided to order a couple of different ones, and it isn't what I thought I ordered, but whatever. These little insulation displacement crimps would be interesting to experiment with and see how they compare to, I don't know, the more common Scotch-Lock or some other insulation displacement crimps. I mean, they were cheap, why not, right? This tool, in the situations where you need it, it's going to be really useful. It's not something that you deal with every day, but when you need one, it's just so much better than using general purpose tools for that job. And then there's these USB-C power delivery things. I'm hoping I can use this for an at-home charger for my laptop, so I don't have to constantly be breaking out the one charger that came with it, because I bounce between home office, work office, working in the truck, working on the side of the road in equipment shelters and stuff. So it'd be nice to have more than one charger for it. And if this can do the job cheaper than the dedicated chargers, then great, especially since it can make use of existing chargers that I've got. And to couple with that, just to experiment with it initially, I've got a couple of these power delivery trigger boards, they're called, so I can run it through its paces and tell it what voltages to send out, or just use a more typical USB-C power delivery charger to get different voltages out of. And they were cheap enough, so yeah, fun to play with. Anytime you're buying stuff that you're going to use to experiment with, to learn about a new technology, that's never wasted money in my books. Because you're learning, you're having fun, you're amusing yourself. Yeah, why not? Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. As always, thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube channel members for helping me pay for this stuff and helping me keep the beer fridge full. That goes a long way to keeping me motivated around here. Yeah, questions and comments down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.